Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, make sure to subscribe because the bills and pay themselves help us out. I know this video is about Taylor and why she deserves her masters, but I just wanted to touch on something that I just learned about right now a few minutes ago. Just for context, I'm filming this video on Sunday, July 7th at 12:19 a.m. and I wanted to talk about something that I learned on Twitter literally just 5 minutes ago. I learned about the passing of Cameron Boyce, which if you don't know who he is an actor who was mainly on Disney Channel. He was also with Adam Sandler on Grown Ups. He was on Jessie, Bunked, and Descendants, where most people know him from, and he passed away yesterday, Saturday. And it is really sad, and it is really touching to me because I literally grew up watching him on Disney Channel. Like, I remember watching him on Jessie back in 2011, 2012, and I pretty much grew up watching him as he grew up on TV, and you know, I've known about him, and he would always be in like my Twitter feed and my Instagram feed, and I would keep up with him. I would keep up with him on the daily, and I also had the opportunity to meet him about 4 years ago at D23, and I can't say anything bad about him at all. Like, honestly, truthfully, he was the nicest person, not just to me but to everyone else there, because the way I was able to meet him is that it wasn't through a meet and greet where a lot of people I met at D23 was through. He was doing an interview with Radio Disney, and then afterwards he had to leave, but he decided to stick around a little while, take pictures, talk with everybody, learn things about people. He would ask, you know, kids who were younger than me at the time, you know, what school do you go to? What are you doing in the summer? Did you go back to school? He was nicest, sweetest person all in all, and it truly is sad that he passed away, and I send my condolences over to his family and through this tough time, and it really is sad. Also, I know this is a big intro, but also it is Saturday, so I also want to touch on the earthquakes that have been going on here in California. I also feel really sad for the people of Ridgecrest who are definitely suffering right now, because that's where the fault line is. And I did feel them as well. I felt them as well on the 4th of July. That was pretty much my alarm on the 4th of July, was an earthquake shaking me. Then the other one I felt as well, and then the big one that happened on Friday was the scariest one, because I was in a moving elevator as the earthquake was happening. And at the time, I didn't think it was an earthquake. I thought the elevators just weren't working, because I had gone to that Target. I was in the Target elevator, by the way. A few days before going on Friday, the elevators weren't functioning at all. So I thought, okay, maybe they didn't fix the elevators fully. Then I logged into Twitter. It was a 7.1 earthquake. So that was definitely very terrifying and very scary. But don't worry, here in LA, we're fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine here. I'm good. That's the most important. Now I want to touch on to the subject of this video, which definitely, if you know by the title and the thumbnail, I'm pretty sure you know what it is. It is the battle that Taylor Swift is going through right now. And I know I should have made a video earlier on this subject, is more than now. But the thing is that I did make a video. I filmed an entire video as everything was unfolding. And then I stopped from uploading it because I didn't feel satisfied with it. I didn't like it. I didn't really like how it turned out. It was very ranty and very much me venting out my feelings more than me presenting the facts, more than me presenting my opinions as precise and concise as I possibly can. So I never uploaded the video. I deleted it. It's off the face of the planet, and I wanted to refilm it again once everything unfolded a little bit better and once both sides were presented in a much more articulate way. So I don't think I need to repeat myself on what has been going on. I think you all know what happened, but to summarize it, if you've been living under a rock for the past week, on Sunday, June 30th, it was June, there wasn't July. On Sunday, July 30th, I woke up to a Tumblr post from Taylor Swift talking about her master recordings and how they were purchased by Scooter Braun with Big Machine Records as well for $300 million, how she was distraught and disgusted over the idea of him owning her master recordings, given that his clients and he himself have been involved in tarnishing her reputation and pretty much vilifying her and destroying her image to the highest extent with, you know, obviously, you know what happened. Like, if you're a Swiftie, you know what happened, and if you've been keeping up with what's going on, you know what happened. But that's the main thing. Scooter Braun purchased her master recordings along with Big Machine Records for over $300 million. And on top of that, Scott Borchetta, which was the CEO of Big Machine Records, was also involved with Taylor in a lot of things that she didn't agree to. And also, it just looks messed up from the perspective of somebody like myself who writes and sings his own songs. Personally, where do I stand on this? Obviously, I stand with Taylor on this situation. Not just because I'm a fan of hers, but also because it's the right thing to do. At this moment, I don't think it's the best thing to stand with a man who used his money and his power to take something that doesn't rightfully belong to him. And I know there's so many logistics and business aspects of things that are in the music industry, but at the end of the day, the work belongs to the artist. I've always said that since day one, since I released my debut album. I always said that, and I even made a whole video revolving that topic of give the power back to the artist. And that has always been my message since day one, to have the artists have power over their work and over their creativity. Because at the end of the day, a record label does not succeed without the artist's work. No work from artists, no label, no $1 billion, no businessman in charge. So I personally believe this was orchestrated completely against her. I really do feel this was orchestrated completely against her. And also, if, you know, obviously I don't doubt that she's telling the truth. Obviously I know she's telling the truth, but she did mention in that post that she learned about this sale. She learned about the fact that they sold Big Machine and her master recordings as she woke up. That was what she posted on her post. As far as I know, she said that she learned about the sale of her master recordings and the record label as the whole world did. And with them not having told her anything, there has to be some legalities to that. There has to be something illegal revolving around that, because at the end of the day, yes, she was under Big Machine Records, but it wasn't Big Machine Records who wrote all 6 albums. It was Taylor Allison Swift. It was she who wrote all 6 records. It was she who did all the concepts for the music videos. And she said in her post that she pretty much paid to do all of her music videos with the money that she made from tours on, you know, bars to arenas and then to stadiums. She paid for everything. Sure, it was under Big Machine, but she was the one who did all the work. So essentially, didn't they have to let her know in previous advance that they were even considering making the sale to Big Machine Records, not just to Scooter Braun, but just in general, putting the label with her master recordings on sale? Didn't that have to happen? And instead they did everything behind her back, and once it was too late for even her to put in her own money and for even to, you know, make an offer to Scott Borchetta, they made the sale already? Like, really? That has to be illegal to some extent. What has also been circulating through the past few days is a couple of theories that a lot of people are having on Reputation. Now, Taylor did mention, I think it was in a People magazine interview, that the Look What You Made Me Do video had Easter eggs that some people would not be able to decode in years' time because they're so hidden. And I think we just found a few of those Easter eggs. Especially the biggest one is in the bridge of the song, in the music video, where she sings I Don't Trust Somebody, Nobody Trusts Me, where she's on top of all of her past work. She is standing on top of all of her past work, and all of her past work is trying to get away from something and escape from something and try to get to the top. And at the end of the day, none of them can get to the top. And that definitely is very telling of maybe what was going on between Big Machine and her business-wise. I feel like this idea of her owning her master recordings didn't just come about when she was about to leave the record label. I feel like this was something that she wanted to do from very early on in her career. However, they did not let her do that, hence why there were so many copyright claims and copyright strikes on a lot of her work. Because if you notice now, in this Lover era, you know, the performances and the work is being presented a lot more often than it used to be presented. Back when she was in Big Machine, especially during the 1989 and Reputation era, there would be a lot of copyright strikes, a lot of copyright claims going around any live performances she did or any concerts or any tour shows. There would always be copyright strikes on her music, and it was always by Big Machine Records. Even I filmed the whole Reputation stadium tour vlog that I went to. I filmed the whole show and I put it on my YouTube channel. It was up for 3 days, and then by the third day I got an email from YouTube saying that my video was taken down. It was copyright strike, not Taylor Swift, by Big Machine Records. It did not say Taylor Swift at all in the copyright strike. So definitely, I don't think it was ever her who would copyright strike the music. I think it was definitely the record label who copyright striked all of the music and all of the performances. And now, you know, even she herself is posting the performances that she's doing at the Billboard Music Awards, even on TV and on any other appearances she's done. Those performances are being now presented, and not a lot of them are getting copyright striked or claimed anymore. Now, I'm not saying she shouldn't copy strike or copy claim if they are actually using it without her permission, but at the same time, you know, when it's a performance and you're seeing her live and you want to upload it, you wouldn't be able to do that prior, but now a lot more people are able to do that now. I also think this issue that's going on with Taylor Swift not only talks a lot about, you know, her and the struggles that she was going through with her record label. I think this has to be a wake-up call for the music industry, because, you know, what happened to Taylor Swift is the icing on the cake of the disgusting things that happen behind the scenes of the music industry. There's a lot of messed up things that happen that you guys don't see with people in record labels, not just artists, but with people in general in record labels. There's a lot of nasty things that happen, and I have been a witness of some of those nasty things living in LA for my whole life. I've known of people who were about to sign record deals, and then they told them, oh, but you have to lose 40 pounds in order for us to sign you. You have to do this in order for us to sign you. Oh, but you're gonna have to do this. Oh, we're gonna have to do that. And it is really disgusting, and it is really nasty that these record labels don't want these artists for who they truly are, that they want to mold and shapeshift them into their own beautiful product that they can put out there in the world. And I get it, sales are sales, but at the same time, labels have to trust the artists that they have their own career at their best intentions, and they will put in the best of the best work that they can to make the record label money, to make the record label sales. But record labels don't really trust artists, so they want to change them and shapeshift them. I also want to talk about another thing that isn't Taylor Swift related, but that also gives you an insight as to how messed up and how disgusting sometimes this industry and this business can be. So I'm sure you're all aware of Lady Gaga's art pop album in the art pop era, and how people call it her flop era. Well, there's a lot of reasons why people call it her flop era, and I think one of the biggest ones is that everybody turned against her once the art pop era, before even the art pop era started. I think it started back when she broke her hip. First of all, the record label only gave her 4 months to recover from that hip surgery, when in reality it takes about a year or two to recover from that hip surgery. They didn't even give her enough time to rest before releasing another album to fully recover from that surgery. And on top of that, her former manager left her because she wasn't generating the sales she generated in the Fame Monster and the Fame Anymore. Born This Way, as it did sell 1 million copies on its first week, it declined a lot, and I can't deny that it declined a lot in the second week. And from there on, I think the singles went lower and lower on the charts. Therefore, her manager didn't believe in her anymore, and a lot of people on her team left her when they realized that she wasn't making any more money. And once the art pop era started, a lot of her fans that had met her at, you know, her hotels where she was promoting the records and in performances, they noticed that she wasn't herself anymore. They noticed that she didn't feel as happy. She didn't look as happy as she once used to. And on top of that, when she did her album launch party, which was called Art Rave, and people were invited to the Art Rave in New York City, some of the people who went there reported that it smelled of hardcore drugs when they went inside. Some people reported that it smelled of Molly and ecstasy. when they went inside, which led people to believe that maybe Gaga was experimenting with hardcore drugs in order to stay awake and in order to be able to keep performing and doing all the things she did, because she still wasn't fully recovered from her hip surgery. And on top of that, when she went on the Art Rave tour, a lot of people said that sometimes in some of the shows, the people who were in the front row noticed that her eyes were bloodshot red, and led people to believe that they weren't allowing her to sleep at all either. And it was just such an abusive era for her. I will say that. It was definitely such an abusive era for her, and it was something it's something so sad to learn about now, rather than having learned about it while she was going through it, because while she was going through it, everybody was just so obsessed with how this was a flop era, and with how the sales are declining, and with how she's not the same Gaga she used to be, and wow, she flopped hard. And they didn't take a second, they didn't pause, and I'm guilty of it. They didn't pause to, take some time to, realize what was going on. And that's truly sad. That truly saddens me. And it truly saddens me that Taylor is going through that same type of abuse in this industry, having being such a powerful woman in this industry. Because you might like her, you might not like her, but at the end of the day, she is the biggest one generating the sales in the music industry right now. The biggest people in the music industry who are generating sales right now are all women, and it's Taylor and Adele and Gaga and maybe Beyonce anytime she releases an album. But those four women generate the biggest sales within the entire, and Rihanna and Katy Perry. There we go. So Taylor, Adele, Gaga, Rihanna, Perry, and Beyonce. Those six women generate the biggest sales in this music industry, and you cannot deny that. Rihanna is the highest paid female musician of all time, and Taylor is one of the very few people in this industry, in general, not just in pop music, in general, that can generate 1 million plus sales in the first week. And Adele broke records when she released 25, when she made 3 million sales in the first week of the album. And that is something that is unheard of, unfortunately, in these days. So she is definitely a force to be reckoned with in this business. And for people to do her this dirty, and for people to screw her over this horrible, just sucks to me. And it lets me know that no matter how much power you have in this industry, these higher ups in the music industry still look at you as just a product. They still look at you as just a money-making machine and not a serious business person in this industry. And I felt and I thought that people would have a lot more respect for her now than they did when she started coming up in this business. And it saddens me that she goes through this, and it saddens me that she has to deal with this at this height in her career. She's been doing this for 13 years now, and she still has to deal with this kind of BS that somebody of her level and of her legacy shouldn't have to be dealing with. And it sucks, it really does. And I truly do hope that she resolves all of this. And I know for a fact, since she is Taylor Swift, she has a plan of what she's gonna do. And definitely I am very excited to see what she has cooking up. And also, as a final note, I do want to say, well, as a penultimate note, I have one more note. But as a final note, I do want to say to the people who are supporting Scooter Braun, take a look in the mirror and realize what you're doing. And to Sia, out of everybody, Sia, are you serious? I really thought she was going to be one of the very few who stuck up for Taylor, but to see her stick up for Scooter Braun just lets me know how big of a hypocrite Sia is. And look, I love her music, I respect her as an artist, I respect her as a songwriter, but as a person, she is truly a hypocrite. Like, she's a hypocrite. She talks a lot about feminism and how she's a feminist and equality for everybody, yet she goes out of her way to support a man who stole someone's work and who took someone's work away from her. So yeah, you're a feminist. Okay, cool. I really hope I never see Sia ever talk again about social justice or equality or feminism. I hope I never see her talk about that again. Also, I think her fans in this moment in time, I think Taylor's fans at this moment in time should stick together more than ever. And this is coming from somebody who's been a fan of hers for over 11 years. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I've had feuds with a few of her fans in the past. And, you know, I think in this moment in time, it's important for all of us, all of her fans, to stick together and to stand up for her and to, you know, help her in this tough time. And I think, you know, if I'm being honest, the biggest way to help her now in this tough time is to make her new album Lover one of her biggest releases to date. She has the record of releasing 1 million plus sales on the first week albums with Speak Now, Red, 1989, and Reputation. Those 4 albums had 1 million plus sales in its first week. Lover has to have 2 or 3 million. I think we have to do it, every single one of us. We have to put in some of our money and some of our time to help make this her biggest debut ever. And I think that definitely is going to be telling to those 2 people of just how powerful she is and of just how much influence she has in this world and in this industry and in this business. Because if we're all able to do that, I feel like we can definitely make something incredible happen. And I really do pray that she gets back her master recordings, and I really do pray that she gets her rights back to everything that truly belongs to her. And I hope that no other artist in this business has to deal with that same crap that she dealt with. Anyways, that is it for today's video. I know this was a pretty sad video to film due to the recent events. But aside from that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below, and as well subscribe if you're new, because the Buzzing Up themselves help us out. And also come back next week because I'm going to VidCon. If you didn't notice from my previous video, I am going to be at VidCon for all 3 days. So if you are going to VidCon, please come say hi. I will be in the Creator Lounge. I'll be in the community expo hall as well. I'm gonna be everywhere. Like, I'm gonna be everywhere. So if you see me, my camera battery died. So as I was saying, if you see me around VidCon, come say hi. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to put you in my vlog. I'd love for us to talk. I'd love to know who's watching my videos all this time. So come say hi. And if you're not coming, don't worry. I guarantee that I'm gonna be uploading hours of VidCon content for those 3 days that I'm gonna be there. Don't you worry. I bought a second battery just to be safe for all 3 days. So anyways, I will see you tomorrow, hopefully with another video. Goodbye.